Hi, everybody. My name is Benjamin. I want to thank NPE for having me here. I'm really excited to be up here on stage presenting to you guys because I've only been a part of the community for a short while. I'm also incredibly nervous because, as you're about to learn, I work hard to be extroverted, but it's also really an honor to be up here and share my story with you. So I run Lean Strong Fitness in Guelph, Ontario. We work with people, very everyday clients, 35 to 60, lose fat, better quality of life. They don't really care about the gym, they just care about the stuff that the gym makes better. So it's very everyday. A little bit about who I am. So like many people, I got into fitness because I wanted to improve my confidence. So in high school, I was, like I said, pretty introverted, didn't have a ton of friends. And two of my friends, one of which was my girlfriend, the other one was my best friend. My girlfriend dumped me for my best friend. So that kind of sucked. And I remember I just started training. I like going to the gym. I usually skip class to go to the gym, which is neither here nor there. And I remember a really pivotal point that one of my good friends, Alistair, I went up to him and was like, Ali, I don't have any friends. Can I hang out with you guys this weekend? Which is like, that was hard. But I wouldn't have had the confidence to do that if I didn't start weight training. So fitness, I realized if it could help me this much, it could probably help other people that much too. I really like the problem-solving aspect. Like, how come certain rep ranges work for some people and nutrition works for some and not others? And it's a really complicated process, as everybody knows, but I thought that was super cool. Super cool. So I went to university, 2008. I started what's now known as the Look Good Naked Club. Yeah, right? So we helped, all the students in school learn how to not do stupid things in the gym and actually reach their goals, so that was a lot of fun. I also did some work for athletics, so I come from more of a strength and conditioning background, and I started 2 online fitness businesses. It's also the time that I'm not super proud of it, but I started selling drugs. So I was in a position that I'm going to get to where I didn't really have any money, and I needed a lot of money, so that's what kind of ended up happening. After university, I thought I had the coolest coaching job in the world. So I was a performance coach, which at the time sounded incredible, and now I realize that when you own your own business, you can just call your employees whatever you want. So I thought that was cool. We were in a 5,000 square foot facility. It was all turf. We had pro athletes, hockey, lacrosse, and basketball, and it turned out to be a huge disappointment. So it looked really cool on the outside, but I don't know if they ever had a month that was profitable, and management was terrible. So I applied to be the GM there, and they said, basically verbatim, you don't have the experience to succeed, so we're not going to hire you. So I said, okay, I quit. And I started my own business, which is now my passion. Oh, how to go back. So it all comes from my why. I really, really like fitness, partially because it literally changed my life, but I love the integration of how it's a logical, scientific, evidence-driven procedure, trying to mix that with the emotional, very illogical procedure where a client's just like, but there were chips, and I ate them all. And I like to try and mix the two of those together to figure out how you can make something really powerful for somebody that can change their life. For me, it's also about freedom. So I've given a lot of thought to what my ultimate goal is, and it's I want the freedom to create and pursue opportunities that excite me. And obviously, money is part of that, and NP is really good at teaching you how to know your numbers and that type of thing. But it allows me to give back, that if I'm in a position where my business is profitable, I'm able to help others. So I'm mentoring somebody right now. I'd love to be able to give back more to people who have helped me start from 2006, where I was, to almost 10 years later in front of you guys. But a lot of it comes from, or it's also a ton of fun, as I'm sure a lot of you all know, but it comes from my family. So this is my very chubby baby boy. And for the record, he did not eat that whole jar of peanut butter. He didn't eat any of it, but he did put the whole jar in his mouth. So he was born when I was in my 3rd year of university, and I paid my way through school, which in Canada is a lot cheaper than the States, but it's still money. And I was already working 2 online jobs, plus a consulting gig for another online fitness company, plus working strength conditioning. And I realized that when he was born, I had the option to either be a part of the family and build my dream, or not. And either is fine, to be honest. But I wanted to be a part of my son's life, and that's also the reason I started selling drugs in university, that I knew that if I was going to come out of school and I was going to be a part of my son's life, I couldn't be crippled with debt, and I couldn't be, $7 an hour to Tim Hortons or whatever. So I'm not proud of it, but maybe I'm destined to be part of NPE because day one when I started doing it, I made my own margin calculator to figure out how I could be profitable. I also realized that was a terrible idea, so as soon as I did it, I deleted it. But regardless. And after university, obviously, I knew I couldn't be doing that. It was a terrible decision. Like, I'm, again, not proud of it, even though I laughed about the margin thing. But I knew that every day I did it, I was one day closer to going to jail. So I quit doing that just before the end of university and wanted to get a legitimate job of something I really enjoyed. So my introduction to NPE, and the reason I'm here, started in 2013. My friend Brian Katoka was like doing this awesome training thing where you don't sell sessions, you sell like a monthly membership, and they don't roll over, and you're never like chasing people for money. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I did Google the site though, because in 21st century fashion, you got to creep everybody before you do anything. And I saw there's Dan John and John Berardi that are affiliated with it, so it must be a great company. It wasn't till December 2014 where I met Tom Jacobs at a Fast Forward event, and he promptly sold me on Evolution Accelerator, like almost everybody up here. But I didn't start till January 2015 because that's when my ultimatum with my boss was that if you didn't fix all the crap at work, I'm gone. So January 30th rolled around, they didn't do anything, and I said, see ya. And I opened my company February 2nd, 2015, so not too long ago. Like everybody, and probably many of you still have, it was not easy, and I was terrified. So I was going through a rough relationship with my girlfriend. We'd known each other for, I guess now, like 7 or 8 years. We met just before university, but we got together, and then university is not the best time to build a long-term, long-distance relationship. So we broke up, and then she got pregnant, and then we were just getting our shit together and getting back together, and we bought a house. Then I was like, hey, so I'm gonna quit my job. And that was, well, a good decision, but at the time, she's like, baby, don't. So there's a lot of head trash, plus being naturally really introverted, like it's very challenging for me to be up on stage and talk to you. It's challenging for me to do sales. It's challenging for me to network. I had a lot of self-worth issues to know, was I good enough to do this? I didn't know what I could charge. I didn't know if I should charge anything. I like to give stuff away for free so I could help people, but there's a lot of stuff going around in my head to figure that out. I was also super afraid of getting sued. So the guy I worked for, who I just promptly left, is known to be a bit of a hothead. He's threatened a lot of people with lawsuits who have left, and they're backed by one of the most wealthy corporations in Guelph. Like, they have a landing strip at their house for airplanes. So I'm like, I'm not going to bat with these guys. So the whole time I was afraid to really do anything and go out and network. But I did find a place to rent space, which is kind of a funny story. So I deal with very average clients. Like, I want to lose fat. I'm very anti-gym. I'm afraid of the gym. Good life intimidates me. If good life intimidates you, like that's tough. And I started renting space at a gym that was 1,000 square feet, and they trained mostly power lifters and Olympic weightlifters. And everybody had an 8x8 platform, and there was 8 of them in the gym. And picture me training Kathy, my 59-year-old client who has osteoarthritis in her right knee, rheumatoid arthritis, and we're learning to do a modified push-up where you're like hands on the bar and people learning how to not do this when they do their push-ups. The guy beside us is like, his name's Dylan. He's like 225, no shirt. He's bleeding on the platform. And DMX is obviously blaring over the loudspeaker and everyone's encouraging him. And he's about to pull like, one of his videos is 585 for 10. Like, these are very strong, intense people. And then I've got Kathy. But that was the space that was available to me because it fit my budget, to be honest. And NP helped me a lot with this because starting out, I had no idea what to do. I was obviously terrified for a number of reasons, including lawsuits. But having my vision and my mission and my systems and my business knowledge basically gave me the confidence to be like, maybe I'm able to do this. So this is where everything is today. So February 2nd, I started with 3 clients. I had $2,000 in revenue, and I made $697. And one of those dollars is because I bought something through Zen Planner to make sure that my credit card processing worked. So at the time, I was like, shit, that's not very much money. And I have 2 mortgages and a car and, you know, this family that I've worked really, really hard to try and get back together after like a terrible, rocky time for a couple of years. So I'm like, this isn't gonna work. But I kind of fought that introverted nature to just network. And I set up probably a strategic alliance meeting once a week for the first 3 months. And I emailed everyone I knew, I talked to everybody I knew, I asked for referrals. At first it didn't work, and I was just like a dude with a laptop and like a nonstop coffee maker. But eventually in June, I hit 27 clients. I had just over 12 grand in revenue, and I thought it was cool that I hit 100 grand in total sales. So for me, I'm like this might actually work. This isn't just me with a laptop and 6 clients. July had my best month ever after I jacked up my marketing. Sold 55,000 in sales, and I decided I should probably hire somebody to do this because I need to sleep and I'd love to be able to see my son a bit more, which is kind of the reason I quit my job in the first place. Now September, I guess this should be like 7.5 months. 43 clients. I pre-called someone in the airport on the way here, so 44 is gonna be Sunday morning when I get home. I have a studio, which I'm gonna show you in a second, full-time staff. I work less, but it's still not like I'm working 4 hours a day or anything. And revenue just cracked 20 grand, and my close rate is pretty good. So this is what my studio looks like. It's actually next door to the powerlifting gym that I was in, and he's super pissed because I was giving him a ton of money, and now I'm right next door doing better than him. So he called the building department on me, so I'm going through some headaches on that right now. But it's about 1,000 square feet, benches, barbells, kettlebells, dumbbells, but very bare bones, and like Kevin was saying, I never went into any debt my whole time through this, partially because I did some bad stuff to get there, but this cost me $6,000 to open, which is very like, I'm not special, you just have to make a spreadsheet and see where your savings are. I had some pretty good takeaways for some of this. So a lot of it comes from, I got a quote from a guy named J.L. Holdsworth from Elliott FTS, and he's like, no matter what happens, you got to adapt and overcome. So renting space and having Kathy like, about to quit because there's so much blood on the platform, people yelling and shit. That only cost me $7,000 for 6 months, and I made 73 grand. So I could have not rented there and gone to somewhere else that wanted $35 per client per hour, which was like, that's kind of a lot. Or you could adapt and overcome and make it work. I also learned to sell and to talk to people and to demonstrate caring, because we all care about our clients. That's why we're here. But not all your clients necessarily know that. So they have to know how much you care until they care how much you know. But learning that me being introverted and just want to watch Netflix and eat ice cream all the time isn't going to get me more clients. So I had to put myself out there and be really uncomfortable to try and figure out what I need to do. Something I think was really critical to success was that I started Evolution Accelerator before I opened my gym. So I actually had my pricing and packaging and everything on set when I had those 3 clients. So I never really had to do too much raising the rates, or I didn't have like 50 clients but no money, and trying to treat my business like a business, not just a gym or a passion, which nothing wrong with that, but we need to do things both ways, really helped me a lot. And something that hit home is one of my clients, who's also a friend and mentor, is the president of a $5 billion company. And before I opened my studio, I'm like, Jim, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I might go into debt, I might lose everything. And he's like, honestly, we're going through the same stuff right now. It's just a couple more zeros. And knowing that every company has the same struggles and the same necessities to fit their margins and their profit, it's really powerful to know that on one hand, it's good to think you're special, but on the other hand, it's nice to know that you're not. And what you're doing on your own isn't totally unique to the industry. Also, hiring was big. So my revenue was at like 17 or 18 grand a month before I hired somebody, and I was like, oh, I could make more money and not have him, or I could put my son to bed at night. And I obviously found out that delegating and outsourcing made me much, much happier than not. Knowing your numbers is also very, very important, but it's not about knowing where you were in the past. Your numbers allow you to know where you're going to go. What's your budget for marketing? What's your budget for equipment? What's your budget for client acquisition? That's very, very important. And why we're all here today is you need to ask for help. Coaches require coaching. So where I am today, like I said, I'm happy. Tom, I set my 3-year, 1, 3, 5-year goals at Fast Forward, and then he's like, no, bigger. And I'm like, that scares me. But I'm on track to hit that in almost half the time. I want to be stage 5 in 2016, and although, like I showed you my numbers, I'm not rolling in money, I'm not stressed about money anymore either, and I'm able to put my son to bed. So the son that I risked never seeing and going to jail for in university, I'm actually now being able to spend the time that I wanted to spend with him, which is kind of why I did this in the first place. But I'm in a position that I can hopefully continue to build my dream and pursue opportunities. I'm not sure what they are, but I'd like to get there. So my biggest takeaway is I'm not special. You just need to follow the damn instructions. Thank you.